The 2008 Speed GT Championship is complete, and Randy Popst has defended, and he's with Brian.
Randy Popst, the Rocket Man. Congratulations, bud, on another one.
Twice. What a credit to the K-Pax 3R team, and special thanks to Jim Huey for the opportunity, and to Porsche for such a fine, reliable machine. That's what won it for us, was the reliability, and Will Moody's setup, and Paul doing such a great job of putting it together. And really thanks to Team Janica Racing and Prairie Hills Motorsport Club, too. Twice. Woo!
Well, he said it earlier this year. The Rocket Man is back.
That's a fact. Let's take a quick look at the results. Davis gets the win. Milner, Pilgrim, Kern, what a battle they had. Going back a little bit, Safronis in 7th. That finish allowed him to move up to 4th in the points over Galati. And Crescentini had a great run going till late in the going. A problem there and the rest of the field. Let's get right back down to Brian with our race winner.
Brandon Davis climbing out of his Mustang. Win number 2 for the year. You've been so fast all year long. Is this one as sweet as the first one?
Yeah, this was awesome. Long Beach was great because we got to win in front of the home crowd there, but we've been so close this year. On the podium all the time, but never quite close enough. Car was awesome, just stayed underneath me the whole day. I was able to run it just flat out and with no problems. I got to thank the guys here. They made the car just absolutely perfect.
What a way to end the season. Congratulations.
All right, boy, what a great one for him. Now let's take a look at those points. Popes wins it comfortably over Pilgrim, then Davis, but there's Safronis getting in front of Galati. That's absolutely huge. Dorsey, it's been a fascinating season. We hear about some great things coming in 09. If I were the folks out there watching, I'd be tuning in.
Oh, absolutely. It's getting bigger and better, and we got a new marketing plan in place, and I tell you what, the World Challenge is going to go forward from here out.
Without a doubt. It has been a real treat for us to be able to bring it to you, folks. Hope you've enjoyed all the coverage here on Speed Channel as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. For Dorsey, for Brian Till in this one, for Calvin Fish, who's been a part of it all season long as well, and Jamie Howe, all the crew at Speed, thanks so much for joining us. And to Randy Popes, congratulations on defending your championship and picking up a 3rd one to boot. And, of course, a great championship as well in the Touring division. We'll see you next year. It was a near street fight in Detroit 3 weeks ago as Andy Pilgrim fought to keep his championship hopes alive.
This is where Pilgrim would look. Popes defense to the inside. Pilgrim looks to the outside. Can he do a Ron Fellows move like at Long Beach a couple of years ago?
Brandon Davis even took a look. With his 3rd win this season, Randy Popes looks secure. But as we have seen, anything can happen to the contenders. The penultimate round of the Speed GT Championship starts now. This may be the 19th consecutive season of the SCCA Speed World Challenge, but today it's a first. The Speed GT Championship makes its first appearance at Thunderbolt Raceway at New Jersey Motorsports Park. Hi, everybody. I'm Greg Creamer, joined by Brian Till. This is a fascinating track, but we're also in the midst of a fascinating championship battle. This is the 9th of 10 rounds, and you've got to get points here. You've got to go fast here, but you've got the finale and the decision of the championship 5 days after this.
Well, and we've got manufacturers championships at stake, and we've got driver championships at stake. So a lot on the line here in very difficult conditions. It's been wet all weekend long. What's it going to do in the race? The skies are cloudy. We don't really know.
And it's starting a little bit damp, a little bit sketchy. As you said, it's going to be an issue. Now, this track, very unfamiliar to many of the drivers here. You've been here before, so tell us about it.
Not only is this track great, but the entire facility, New Jersey Motorsports Park, made up of 2 different racetracks. We're going to race on Thunderbolt today. So this racetrack has 14 corners in it. And the first 4 corners are very quick. All 3rd, 4th, 5th gear corners. Turn 1, 2, 3, and 4. Once you leave turn 5, though, everything is very tight. From 6 all the way back around through turn 13. That little chicane that leads to the last corner, very tight. All 2nd gear stuff. So really, to find a race car that'll work on both ends is going to be difficult.
And as you pointed out with the conditions we've had, wet to dry, tough to find that balance, that setup, which made qualifying very interesting. Take a look at some highlights. First of all, the 2 K-Pax cars went out early, did 1 lap, came back in, waited, and as the track started to dry, the times came down. Then they went out right here. You see them head back out in tandem trying to knock something in.
Yeah, there's no reason to go out when the track is so wet. You can't lay down a fast lap. They waited, they went out. Once the track got better, they were willing to go for it.
Also a little strategy from the caddy team. They came in, not enough downforce apparently, so they started taping off inlets.
Had kind of a cool day. This is going to help get the engine temp up quickly and adds a little front downforce, as you said.
But it was interesting, right as the time started to get really quick, Dino Crescentini had a big hit right in the front straight. That ended the qualifying session with about 4 minutes to go. It was before the K-Pax guys really got their lap in. And there, Tommy Mickwell leaned into Brandon Davis and gave him the good news, bad news scenario. You're on pole, but you got to get to tech. And it did hold, so that's where things sat. Now, we want to show you the points after qualifying, and that's what's key. With Andy Pilgrim out-qualifying Randy Popes, Brian, he actually closed it up a bit.
Yeah, he's still hanging in there. He's got a shot at it, 2 races to go, and that's why we race. I mean, he's got to make it to the checkered flag. Randy Popes, who knows? He could have problems.
And Brandon Davis closed it up just a little bit as well on Galati in that prestigious battle for third. Here is the starting grid. Brandon Davis up front. On his last lap in qualifying, James Sofronis nailed a sweet lap, picked up second. Andy Pilgrim, as we said, outside row 3. Dino Crescentini was 4th. He will start at the back because he had to switch tires after that wreck.
You see Randy Popes there in 5th. The most important thing, at least for Andy Pilgrim, as far as qualifying goes, he's in front of the championship points leader.
And then Brian Simmel back for his second race this season in the Woodhouse Performance Viper, along with Jeff Courtney, his teammate essentially. Behind them, the ever-quick Tommy Milner in that Aston Martin, and Cindy Lux having a great season.
And that Aston Martin getting quicker all the time. Eric Curran there in row 6. He's had electrical gremlins all weekend long. We'll see if they've gotten them sorted out. And you look at the back, Jeff Altenberg in that brand new Lexus.
And Gunter Schaldog, who actually was second quick in a brand new car here in one of the practice sessions. He was very quick in qualifying, but had a slight infraction in tech. He too will start near the back. So we've got some fast people mid-pack and at the back of the pack that are going to be putting on a great drive and the championship on the line here. And we will be back with the starting lineup here in New Jersey. Welcome back to New Jersey Motorsports Park. The car is now out completing their pace lap. They will take up their spot for the standing start to get ready for this one. And again, so much on the line here.
Oh, you got to think about it. I mean, for Randy Popes, he didn't qualify as well as he wanted to, so he's really kind of back in the thick of things. And these standing starts, they are fraught with danger, so he's going to have to be very careful here and make sure he gets through the start so that he can make sure that he stays on the racetrack. Like I said, as these standing starts, anything can happen, Greg.
Well, and there's guys here, too, that are not in this championship fund, but their job is to go to the front and win races, so they're not going to worry about that, and I think this could be awfully entertaining.
Yeah, these guys could care less about Andy Pilgrim or Randy Popes' hunt for the championship. They're out to make a name for themselves in these final 2 rounds. If you haven't had a good season, you want to end it well, you're going to lay it all on the line and you're going to go for it. Now, interestingly enough, both these cars in the front row now, standing start-wise, are really good cars. Think about a Porsche. Engine in the back, it's going to sit down, put that power down really well. But the Mustang of Brandon Davis, I'll tell you what, that thing is going to sit down and go. They've got a launch control system in that thing. It's going to look like it was shot out of a gun.
And straight line speed, too. That is a big, powerful engine in that car. So we are getting ready to go for the start of this 9th of 10 rounds on our way to a championship, both in terms of manufacturer and drivers. Green flag. The grid is clear. Kathy Malik gives him the 5-second board. Watch for it. Lights on. We are racing in New Jersey. Oh, Sofronis got a great start.
Man, we talked about those cars starting well. Look at Sofronis on the inside. He's got the preferred line. He keeps Davis behind him, and that is a feat in and of itself to beat that Mustang at the drop of the green there when the lights changed. What a start by Sofronis.
Galati stayed in front of Popes. Popes in the blue car, the blue Porsche with the yellow trim. 5th in your screen. Side. Look at Eric Kern. We talked about he was back in the pack a bit. Look at him move up, and Davis very close to Sofronis.
That's coming into turn 4. There's a little jump there. The cars get really light. Hard to keep control of them on the brakes, and what a great job there by both of those drivers. First lap, tires aren't warm, track still somewhat damp. Look at Curran back.
Boy, he is hunting. That is Courtney. Jeff Courtney, he's trying to get around. Curran, that red and white Whelen Engineering Corvette. Watching the back of the screen here. He dives to the inside of Courtney. I think he may have made it this time, Brian.
We said that Curran had problems all weekend long. Well, that Corvette certainly seems to be working right now. There's Galati in the 23. Popes right behind him. Galati in that blue with the orange on the bottom. Randy Popes with the yellow stripe along the bottom. Maybe right now it's good to have your teammate in front. You kind of have a blocking back out there for you.
Absolutely, boy. Curran, though, look at him close up already all over the back of Popes. Going back through the field just a little bit, watching some of the drivers working through. You can see Scarallo making a move in the back. Oh, that is Courtney taking a run. That is Brian Simo taking a run at Courtney in the right there. Oh, and there's a contact in the back. Couple of cars spearing off. Cindy Lux and Milner in the Aston Martin.
Getting together right there at the entry to turns. Davis still all over the back of Sofronis. Sofronis blocks to the inside. Turn 4, the right-hander here. And Sofronis under heavy attack. Oh, but Davis with a wheel off there at the exit.
That's a substantial little rise that they have that they come over there as well,
it's a great little jump, and it right into a braking zone. So you got to be all over that car, making sure that it's nice and straight.
Go back and take a look at what happened here. Looks like there was a little contact, Brian.
Yeah, I mean, difficult to tell from that shot, but it looked like Milner to the inside of Cindy Lux, and I don't know whether he thought he had cleared her and was trying to come back over for the line, but doesn't really matter how it happened, and both of them ended up off course.
Got a serious battle shaping up here for third. That is the Porsche of Galati closing up on Andy Pilgrim. Ooh, he gets very, very close. And we get a report now that Mike McCann, teammate to Pilgrim, has pulled into the pits and has stopped and shut it off. That's never a good sign. Oh, and Milner, he has got a flat tire from that incident. Maybe the contact, maybe the off, but that left rear is down, so he'll be calling into pit lane. Meanwhile, up front, Sofronis and Davis breaking away just a little.
A brand new racetrack here. Anytime you get off, there's a lot of dirt, but there are a lot of rocks as well. He could have just gotten some rocks along the bead of the tire and had it gone down that way, or it could have been cut down from the contact. But look at Kern in the back of the shot there. He is a man on a mission now.
Oh, he got those tires that they used to dissuade people from running over the curbs. And Davis, this time it was the inside. Boy, if he'd been a little bit closer up, he may have been able to make that one work.
Talk about a man on a mission. Right now, it seems that Brandon Davis has the faster car, but Sofronis on the tighter end of the racetrack being able to make things work, but Davis not letting him get away. This will be interesting. If he can stay close as they come onto the front straightaway, he may be able to draft, but look at Sofronis in the tight stuff. Just leap off of the corner.
Well, they have got that Porsche working superbly in that section of the track you talked about, the other half of the track where that car is working very well. Speaking of well, look at Kern. He has now gone around both Popst and Galati. Kern is up into fourth. Let's go back now and take a look at what we were talking about. Watch Kern here.
Pilgrim almost got the bundle, but Kern definitely does. Using every inch of racetrack and a little bit more, I think, Greg.
Trying to open it up, trying to get it run. And as a result, now go back a little bit. Look at some of the cars. There's Tony Gaples in that beautiful silver Corvette back at the front. Looks as though Pilgrim has reeled these guys in, and he's brought Galati, who's back around Kern. Boy, what a great battle there, up into the fray.
Well, you can throw a blanket over the top 5 right now. Sofrona's holding down the point, but there they are, your top 5 contenders for the win here. And talk about contenders, what about Randy Popst? He's the 6th car in line, and I think he's content to just let it unfold in front of him right now.
Well, the last thing he wants to do is do something, throw it off himself, or get caught up in something, obviously, at this point. So, you know, when you have that size of a lead in the championship, you tend to be a little bit more circumspect. But Kern, look at this. He is all over the back of Galati. He's reeled him right back in again. Very, very close. Does he take a look here? Nope, not there. Oh, yes, he does. He does. Oh, there's contact. Tires and car, I think.
Just a little bump there, just enough to loosen him up. And Kern, once he's gotten by, it's already 2 car lengths right off the bat. Kern, I mean, I'm telling you, that Corvette is like it is on rails. It is by far the best handling car out there right now.
And as a result, you saw Galati just drop a tire on the exit. He lost a little bit of margin, and that's let Popst come up. Let's take another look at that moment, though, with Kern and Galati.
And kind of a late move by Eric Kern. It was left front to right rear, but he stuck it in there, and when the contact happened, it was just enough to push Galati out of the way.
He just loosened him up.
Just loosened him up a bit. Now, Popst hanging right there. He's got to be careful. He actually said before he came in here, for the next 2 races, I'm going to be like an insurance adjuster and analyze everything in terms of risk. And that is a quote from Randy Popst. I think that's what he's doing. He's really content to sit there, Greg. He's thinking championship over the jump. Look how light the cars get.
Boy, that Mustang in particular really got nose up. Very, very close. Boy, I tell you, Davis is so quick in that section, but now they get into that twisty stuff, and as you pointed out, this seems to be where that Porsche starts to come alive a little bit.
As this racetrack matures, it's going to get even better. There are apex curbings that are down now, which is great. They're going to put in track-out curbings, which will be a big benefit. When you drop a wheel, you won't be in mud or sand, so that's going to help. The grass coming in is going to help. It's maturing, and I'm telling you, next year it's going to be awesome. Look who's next in line for Eric Kern. Oh, and he gets wide.
Boy, it looked like he just pushed wide. And I'm guessing that you get offline here right now, there's not going to be a whole lot of grip.
Well, you see the mud. You can see areas of the racetrack that appear to still be dark, and I think there are areas that are damp. And I think Andy Pilgrim just carried maybe a mile an hour too much speed in there. The car just slid wide, and if you get offline now, you're going to lose grip almost instantly. And I think that's what we just saw.
So that has Pilgrim now back in fourth, with Kern now in that Wheelan Engineering vet moving up, and the Remington Shaving and Groomers Cadillac settling into the fourth spot, and then the battle between the two K-Pax teammates for fifth, currently held by Galati. Laps complete here at New Jersey Motorsports Park of 30, and it is still Sofronis out front, Davis, Kern right there in third. Great charge through the pack. That, by the way, got him the whole shot award as Kern picked up 4 spots in that opening lap. Thought we'd pass that one along to you as well. There is Pilgrim. There's this battle now. It's Kern. Boy, I tell you, he is just flying. He is now all over the back of Brandon Davis, and Galati taking a run at Pilgrim. So a couple of good battles shaping up here. Galati really hounding Pilgrim now down into this last turn. Fast right-hand kink. Turn 14 onto the front straight. Led onto it. Oh, here we go. Big move here. Oh, Kern.
Galati's going to come with him.
He's going to get him, yeah.
Did Kern not get a good run off that last corner, I wonder? If he had gotten himself a little bit loose coming off, it's going to slow his speed down the straightaway, and he's going to be a sitting duck, which is what we saw. But Kern, he's got a problem,
He must have a problem, because suddenly it just laid down again. Pope drove by him extremely easily. So Kern, don't know what it is. Haven't seen any smoke. Don't have any idea what it might be, but
such disappointment. You see him offline. There's a lot of dirt coming up. But remember, they've had those electrical problems all weekend long, and you can't help but wonder, is it another one? But such disappointment for that team. They worked so hard. Eric Curran was flying, but right now that Corvette just off song.
Yeah, they've actually issued a press release after Detroit where they said bugs. We've been dealing with bugs. And right now it looks like our leaders will soon be dealing with traffic. We just saw that shot of the 97 of the Competition Associates. That's that Mitsubishi Lancer Evo of Vesko Kosarov, and he got a penalty for creeping, or essentially jumping the start. So he's coming into this lead battle play a little bit quicker than you might normally see. Traffic is always interesting. Things have opened up a little bit here between this top 5.
Sofronis can almost take a breath right now. And what he wants to do, he wants to see that Mitsubishi down the straightaway is what he wants to see, because if he gets it back here in the fast section of the racetrack, and he didn't get it right here, so he's going to potentially catch that car in an area that he doesn't want to, and that may very well allow Brandon Davis to close up, as if he's not close enough already.
Now you can see the ground Davis made up into that first turn, so working very, very well. Davis right there again, coming after him, up and over that rise. Boy, that's a great piece of corner, isn't it?
He's so fast through that section of the racetrack. Through turn 3, Brandon Davis is absolutely flying. They get in there and go over that jump. Oh, and there's the Mitsubishi. They are closing in on him. They're also getting to the tight section of the racetrack, and James Sofronis is going, come on, buddy, get that thing moving. I don't want to have to run into you in here, because that is not like Davis isn't close enough to begin with. If they catch traffic at the wrong place, that may be the opportunity Brandon Davis needs.
Well, the problem is that Evo is wicked quick in a straight line. It makes huge power. It's just they haven't got the handling dialed on that car yet, so it's going to be an interesting little study here. There is Sofronis. There's the margin to Davis. Again, in this last section of track, he opens it up a few car lengths, which is huge when you get onto that front straight, and they are quickly now drawing in on Vesko Kosarov here in the Evo. Onto the front straight we go. But look at the margin that Sofronis. This could be huge, Brian.
Well, you talked about the straight line speed. That little Mitsubishi Evo certainly has it, but Sofronis clears him. Now the question is, did Davis? We were worried about the lap traffic. No, he didn't. We were talking about the lap traffic holding up Sofronis. It seems to have held up Davis.
And there is Sonny Whelan and Crescentini. Remember, we talked about he had the 4th quick time in qualifying, started dead last. He just got around Sonny Whelan and picked up the 11th spot. So Dino Crescentini having a great run in his Centric Parts Stop Tech Brakes Porsche, part of the Global Motorsports Group program that Sofronis runs, and Crescentini auguring his way back up through the pack. 9th round of the Speed GT Championship continues here in New Jersey. We are working lap 13 of 30, and Brian Simo in his second start in the Fometics Viper from the Woodhouse Performance team has closed up on Randy Popes. You can see James Safronis, because of that traffic, not even in the shot now. And as a result, he's got himself a nice margin. But Davis still has some pressure, but the guy with the pressure now is Popes.
Well, and let's go back to championship implications here. Brian Simo is not in it. This is only his second World Challenge race of 2008, but he's got a very potent Viper underneath him, and he is a very talented race car driver, and there's nothing that Brian Simo likes better than winning races. So he's trying to go to the front, and he doesn't care that that's the championship leader in front of him. So Randy Popes really needs to think. Once again, he's thinking like that insurance guy.
Exactly.
And he's analyzing risk, and I think if it gets down to it and Simo pressures him too much, he can see Andy Pilgrim in front of him, so he knows where his competition is in the championship. So I'm sure that he and Will Moody, his crew chief, have this all mapped out, and Will's going to tell him, you can let him go or you need to hold him back. They're going to keep track of this championship as it ebbs and flows.
And if he doesn't have to hold him back because of that scenario, if it gets to be just too close and that risk gets too high, as Galati looks at Pilgrim, and here comes Simo. Popes might let him go, and he may have just done it right there. Just let him slide through, not hit anything, not get hit. Yep, Simo pulls it off, and I think Popes made it easy.
Well, and think about this, too. He has his teammate in Michael Galati doing battle with his nearest competitor in the championship. So he's got that battle working up there. He knows that Pilgrim's only a couple of spots in front of him. If push comes to shove, he can count on Michael Galati getting out of the way at the end and letting him pick up another position. So right now, I think his championship thought is, we've got this under control.
Well, very good point. The issue is one, I think Simo, as you pointed out, a former Trans Am champ, the guy can drive. If he gets up there, he might take it to Andy Pilgrim as well. So that's a plus. I think Galati's in a bit of a, between a rock and a hard spot because, big smoke. Joey Scarolo, boy, talk about a tough season for a very talented driver. Tony Ave's team runs this. They are very good as well. But they picked up these GTOs, and they have just, as they continue to develop them, struggled. This is another motor that has gone on this team. And what was that? Maybe,
I think the camera's going the way of the motor.
Oh, man. So Scarallo right now just trying to bring it home and at least get it into the pit lane, hopefully off track. Meanwhile, Safronis, look at the margin he has opened up. But what I was saying, Galati, he may want to let Popes by for the championship, but he's also racing to hold on to third from Davis, who's in front and second right now. So that's a tough deal.
But I don't think they need to make that call just yet. That's something that's well down the line. As you look at it, you see Pilgrim and then Galati, and then you see Brian Simo who's closed in there. So right now, Andy Pilgrim is only 2 spots up in front. So he's not going to gain that much in points right now. So they're not in a position where they need to worry about it. They're going to let Michael Galati race and collect as many points as he can. Let him do battle like you were talking about with Brandon Davis.
And Brandon Davis right now just trying to figure out a way to get back up to James Safronis. And just saw a shot of Jason Dascalos, who has also been very quick as of late, has had tremendous success in qualifying. Watch for him right in the back there. And he's just struggled in the races with various little ills, a lot of the times not of his own doing. But he has been quick, and if he can keep it together here, see if he can join this crew.
And just moments ago, it was 2nd through 6th. And the rest of the racetrack was empty behind him. We didn't see another car, but now Dascalos beginning to creep into the shot. So he is definitely moving his way forward. Right now, Pilgrim trying to keep Galati behind him. And look at this. I mean, for once, I think we've had like 2 or 3 laps in a row where James Safronis goes, I actually get to breathe.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of room, but look at this. As Simo closes right up on the back of Galati, making it real close. We have a 3-car battle for third here in New Jersey.
A little contact there. Safronis bumps him at the hairpin, gets side by side. Is he going to be around?
Oh,
they touch. They touch again.
There goes Safronis. That's Post. Boy, if he timed that against by Randy Post, he's done something.
One of the most familiar names in Speed GT competition, James Safronis, driver of the number 14 GMG Porsche and owner of Global Motorsports Group. The GMG stable of cars increased from 1 to 3 for the 08 season.
It's grown with the addition of Dino and Dino Crescentini of Stop Tech Brakes and Sean Allen from BMC Group. Those guys coming on board has really upped our game to the next level. More resources have come in, more support, more engineering, more data to look at. So it's a great position for us to be in right now. The Speed World Challenge Series is a perfect series for GMG to compete in. I mean, the main focus of GMG, Global Motorsports Group, is the aftermarket tuning and performance tuning of street Porsches. Through all this design and research and development of all the racing program components, we designed our old World Challenge line of products. These are products that we've tested on either our World Challenge Cup cars or our street tuned GT2 and 997 GT3. So all that's translated into a broad product line that we offer to our customers. It starts from basic ECU tuning to the exhaust system, to the intakes, to the headers, and the full suspension system, the shocks, the springs, the sway bars, everything made proprietary off of the research and the feedback from the racing program. So the World Challenge line, as we've called it, from GMG, is kind of our premier line of products that we offer for the street team.
Utilizing Speed GT Racing for the development and marketing of Porsche products, with James and the GMG team still in search of their first challenge victory, they are already planning and looking forward to 2009.
No doubt we want to compete in World Challenge. By far, Speed World Challenge is the best series there is out there. The Porsche is such a great brand. It's the focus of our business there at GMG. So our plan is to have at least 2, if not 3, or more cars next year and continue to grow with our team.
Well, that Global Motorsports Group has just exploded in the last few years. A couple of years ago, opened a massive facility in Southern California, 16,000 square feet, and they're already filling that with business. And he mentioned a great addition here, and that's Dino Crescentini and his Centric Parts and Stop Tech Brakes companies. And the Stop Tech Brakes in particular have been very strong. And Dino, along with the guys from Moton Shocks, were the ones, if you recall, it was at Detroit, really found a setup on that car. And James said, there it is. And they really started to refine it. And here's Dino. And keep in mind, we're watching Milner right there. He's actually a lap down now after that incident. And he's coming up through the pack now. But Dino is trying to run down that silver vet in front. But a great comeback drive by Dino.
Well, and Dino Crescentini is a very good race car driver. I was introduced to him in 1995 when I ran Trans Am, and this guy stepped in, and we were like, who is this guy? Well, who was he? He was right on my tail for several races, and I was like, all of a sudden, I didn't like him very much because he was very fast, and he is a good race car driver. We've seen it in Trans Am competition. Just about anything he gets in, he can go to the front. You know, he had a good performance in Detroit. He had a good performance this weekend until he had that problem in qualifying in very difficult conditions. He's worked his way back through half of the field here, so Crescentini is a very good race car driver.
Oh, he's definitely brought something to this team, there's no question. And again, with the work Moton has done on the shocks, they have really found that package. Meanwhile, Brian Simmel has again found Galati and is hounding him right now. And again, takes a look to the inside, down into this turn, but boy, the brake's just pretty good on that Porsche and able to hold him off.
And that's what Porsche is known for, is that braking capability, and that's exactly what you saw Michael Galati take 100% advantage of and jump all over the binders on that Porsche and just outbrake the Dodge. I mean, you look at it, that Viper, it's very, very fast, but it's got a lot of weight to it. It's got a lot of kinetic energy. You got to slow that down, and that little nimble Porsche just better under brakes.
Look at this. Davis now has started to close the gap up on Safronis just a little bit, making that up. Pilgrim has eased away from those guys behind him in that battle of Galati and Simo, so he's got maybe his first comfort zone in a while, but Safronis got to be worried about the pace we're seeing out of Davis right now, but boy, this battle is a good one.
Well, you think about and the Porsche, and we were just talking about the strength being the brakes. One of the weaknesses is where the motor is. It sits back there over the rear tires. That is a lot of weight over those rear tires, and you can use them up, and we saw both of the K-Pax Porsches use up rear tires at Detroit. Pope's able to hang on for the victory, but he said, I was out of tires at the end, and I wonder if that's what we're beginning to see here.
Could very well be. There's no question of that. There's Daskalos again closing up in the back of that screen. He is just chipping away at things in that Coastal Pet Products Viper. Speaking of Vipers again, Simo shows the nose. Just can't get alongside early enough to really make that work.
You know, I wonder if to some extent Brian knows he can't get it done, but he's just saying, hey, I'm going to fill the mirrors of Michael Galati. Now, Galati not easily intimidated, but anytime you see a car the size of that Viper behind you bobbing in and out, he's just trying to get him off his game.
Well, 5-time champion Galati has certainly dealt with pressure in his days.
Yeah.
and certainly has had success on brand new venues. You know, win 5 championships without being able to do that. But that Fometics Viper right now of Simo looking very quick, as is Davis. Again, he has made up ground, and Jason Daskalos is really starting to close the gap up. So we're getting some great battles forming up everywhere around Thunderbolt Raceway here. Looking forward to, well, we've still got well over 12 laps to go. Welcome back, everybody. Entering the final third of this 9th round of the Speed GT Championship for 2008. Lap 20 of 30 is the lap we are working right now. There's Galati, there's Simo, there's Popst, and right behind them now is Daskalos. So this battle is starting to become a 4-car scrap for this 4th spot. Simo, boy, he turned in early, and I was wondering if we were going to see another Kern into Galati moment. But sideways by Simo. Well, he is throwing everything at it.
And now Pope's right there, but I've got to believe he's going to be content to watch this. He doesn't want to get involved. If these 2 cars have a problem, he didn't want to become involved in somebody else's mess.
Well, he comes in with a huge lead, there's no question. Now, yes, you can get 110 points for the win. There are bonus points, but you also, for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, get a lot of points. So it's not like there's massive gaps. So he is still being, I think, just very, very focused on championship. He's got 3 wins this year. Championship is the important item right now. And up front, Brandon Davis, he's thinking on holding or getting to 3rd in the championship if he can get by Galati in terms of those points. And he is starting to run down Sofronis. That big margin is evaporating.
I wonder, did Brandon Davis lay back and save his tires, or did James Sofronis go out to that big lead by using too much of his? We were talking about the rear tires on the Porsche. This is where Sofronis has been so strong, through the tight stuff. But look how close.
Oh, sorry, in the background, Daskalos, what a move, dives down underneath Randy Popst and has picked that spot up. And that was an aggressive move. I'm not even sure Randy was expecting that one.
And talk about danger everywhere. Now it's coming at Randy Popst from behind. We talked about it at the start, but Daskalos, the theme from Jaws, dum 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 dum, right there. I mean, he's just moving forward, and Randy Popst almost got eaten up by him.
Oh, he was very, very close. That was an aggressive move. Popst closes up a little bit, but Daskalos looking at it. Let's go back, speaking of looking at it, and see that one again.
He puts it just right alongside. I think Randy said, you know what? I'm
not going to fight it. Yeah.
Please be my guest right this way. But look at this.
Viper.
Look at this. Davis, I mean, just a half a car length at a time, beginning to close it down. This is the end of the racetrack where Brandon Davis is so quick. Out of that 2-3 complex. Here's turn 3. Very fast right-hand sweeper. Over the jump into turn 4. I love that. Look at that. Car gets light, and then he just closes up under braking. Picks up another car length or 2 under braking for turn 4. And then into turn 5. Now the Porsche should have the brakes there. But look at Davis, inch forward.
Now, from this section forward, though, is where Sofronis has been pretty good. And we'll see if he is able to gap him just a little bit. Well, you know what? Davis has wins. Sofronis, this is his 99th start. He's led the entire race, and he's looking at his mirrors going, oh, no, I have got to keep this one together. I've got to bring this one home for Global Motorsports Group. And he is going to do everything he can to hang on, but Davis is closing in big time.
We'll have to see how much desire gets you when you dig down deep. Right now, Sofronis with a very good race car, but you talked about it, a lot of desire as well. No victories yet for this team or that driver, and I got to tell you, he's going to dig down deep, and he's going to pull out a little bit extra if it gets down to these final laps, and he's still in the lead. Look at him on the brakes. Davis, really, I mean, I'm very impressed with that Mustang, and I'm telling you, Greg, I'm thinking that the tires on the Porsche of James Sofronis becoming to go away. Davis is now quick everywhere, under braking, through the high-speed stuff and the low-speed corners as well.
So that ACS Sun Microsystems Mustang may be just a little bit better balance and showing as we close in on the finish here in New Jersey. It's a good one. We are back, and you have missed virtually nothing, and you can see that Davis has that same margin right behind Sofronis, then a little bit of a gap back to the Cadillac of Pilgrim, and then this great battle. It is Galati, it is Simo in the Viper, it is the Copper Viper of Daskalos, and it is your points leader, Randy Popst, being very circumspect.
And Michael Galati going, I've got a mirror full of not 1 but 2 Vipers. Look at Simo, look. And Galati not feeling well this weekend. He's got a bit of a flu bug, so right now he's going, guys, can't you just leave me alone?
And they're going, no. You don't feel well, we're going to take advantage of that. And Davis, right there, that is where you can just see Sofronis is incredibly effective through those last few corners.
He really leaps off of 12 and 13, which gives him that shot through that very fast right-hand kink. But look at the end of the straightaway. The Mustang not only closes up, but look at the brakes. That's what's surprising to me is how well that Mustang is stopping right now. I mean, he's just eating up James Sofronis in the braking zone. He's closing 2 or 3 car lengths. And
just
you watch
dancing
the nose,
on the brakes. Yeah, he is really on it. Brandon Davis has evolved into a superb race car driver. There's no question of that. And again, takes that little bit of a look heading down into these turn 4 complex. Now the tight turn 5. He is so good through 2 and 3 in particular.
I was going to say, turns 1, 2, 3, and 4 belong to Brandon Davis. Hands down, without a doubt. He is the quicker of those 2 cars at that end of the racetrack. But really, the saving grace for James Sofronis is this other end. We talked about it in the track map. 2 very different ends of the racetrack, and they require 2 very different types of cars. One of them's got to work in low speed. One of them's got to work in high speed. Sofronis came into this weekend with a car that he didn't think had a real good front end on it. Couldn't get the car from turn into apex to work very well. They've worked really hard. He gets it in, and then a Porsche, of course, coming off the corners, sits down with all that weight in the back and really puts the power down well. The question is, can you take care of the tires? But you saw him get through 12, 13, 14, the sweeper up on the curbs and flying down that front straightaway. And that end of the racetrack belongs to James Sofronis. It just so happens to be the important end because it's the one that takes you to the line.
To the start-finish line, exactly. And I mean, there was the perfect example. At the end of the straight, the last lap, Davis was all over him. They come onto the straight, and it's 3, 4, maybe even 5 car lengths, and that can be everything right now. So, but once again, Davis just starts closing them. Oh! And Galati there suddenly, there's some damage to that.
Gone on one side of the car.
I don't know if he clipped a curb or something.
Or if he hit somebody in the back or perhaps dropped a wheel, but that is going to significantly hamper the amount of downforce. It's taken the whole front over there. You saw the bumper on the right front really shaking. Up and over there. Oh, and it came off.
It's gone. And Courtney went right through it in the Kenda Tires Viper.
And the downforce on the front end of that Porsche is now gone. That splitter, very important. He gets pushed wide by one of the Vipers. It looked like Simo, I think. And now he's out in that wet dirt, that mud, and that's going to dig in and grab. And I think that's where the damage came from. And then he goes off again on the front straightaway because of the lack of downforce. And now it's just getting worse.
I think this is where that came off. Yep, see it?
Yep, comes up, and then you see it over there behind the braking markers, and now he's lost all of that downforce that splitter provided up in the front. Back down under braking again, and here comes Davis. Now, James Sofronis as a driver needs to say this to himself, Greg, look, I know this guy is fast over here, but if I could just keep him behind me through these areas of the racetrack, and it is hard to pass here, James. I know it's hard to pass. He needs to keep talking to himself. I know it's hard to pass. Keep him behind you. Keep him behind you. You're good onto the straight. You're good onto the straight.
Oh, and look at Courtney now has made the move, gets by the now struggling Galati to be sure, and we get the report the safety car is standing by. The debris from that front end of Galati is now scattered everywhere, and oh, the 2 leaders, boy, that's timely as Sofronis and Davis both got around. Again, that is Vesko Kozarov in that Mitsubishi Lancer Evo, so they've gone through, but because of the margin, Pilgrim has not yet. If this goes full course caution, that could be absolutely horrific for Andy Pilgrim.
And right now, I don't know whether James Sofronis wants a full course caution or not. If the tires are gone, he'd like to cool them off. But if he knows, oh, and we are full course caution, doesn't matter whether he wants it or not. If the tires are gone, this would help him cool. But the problem is, with Brandon Davis behind you on a restart, once again, that Mustang is magic, big torque, big horsepower. There's the pace car, and on a restart, he's really going to have to protect. If Brandon Davis gets a good restart, could be trouble.
Well, could indeed, and of course now we're going to have Andy Pilgrim who might think of this, Al, if I could get a good restart, make some ground up on Pobes, but if he did not get by Kozarov, then he will have that car, and there is that debris, and you can see the other chunks of it out on the racetrack, right in the line, semi-self-cleaning, but the caution is out at this point. So there's your top 5, and maybe the driver of the race is Jason Daskalos. Welcome back to New Jersey, everybody, and if you're looking for a shootout, you got it. 2 laps, green, white, checker. That's how this is going to unfold. Pace car is in. Safrona's bringing him up and rolling into it. Well, you don't want to go too slow with that Mustang behind you.
And I thought Davis was going to time it perfectly. The green flag's back out. This is it. This could be the race.
That Daskalos and Popst almost getting into it. That's a moment Popst did not need.
Oh, he didn't need that at all. That was a scary moment. I think he just watched the championship and go in front of his eyes almost. He's thinking, come on, guys, help me out a little bit. And look at this, the Evo in the way.
All right, now some of them getting through, but you can see there are the 2 leaders, then the gap. Pilgrim lost a bunch, and look at Popes trying to come back through it as well. A lot of activity in the back. Meanwhile, up front, 2 lap, well, making a lap, but 2/3 to go here, and Davis right there.
This is the end where James Safronis is so quick. They come out of turn 5, the run up to turn 6. From this point to the front straightaway is where Safronis has had the legs, and this is where he needs to get it done. He's got to pull out down the front straightaway, or that very powerful Mustang of Davis will be all over the back of it. And we've seen how good Davis has been these last several laps under braking into turn 1.
By the way, Jason Daskalos, there you see him in that Copper Viper, has moved up into the 4th spot. Just an incredible run coming from 14th on the grid.
What
unbelievable drive. There he is, but meanwhile, and there we see it again. Safronis just floats it open in that last sequence of corners, Brian, on that curb, and a great run onto the front straight. White flag, 1 to go.
And James Safronis needs to keep telling himself, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. White flag. You said it, 1 to go. It's okay. Keep him behind you here, and you are home free. No mistakes.
Now, we saw all that bumping and grinding on that restart. Some other action in the back. Take a look at this. That's Crescentini. Altenberg going off as well. So that great drive by Dino, some of that goes away. Wow! Big lift by Safronis that time, and Davis even higher. Boy, he kept his foot in until that last possible second, Brian.
And this is it. Now, he's got, Safronis has about 2 car lengths. This is where he's been magic. He's telling himself, no mistake. You know you've been faster here. Davis, closer than he's ever been through this section of the racetrack. But look at the Porsche off the corner.
This is huge. 1, it could be Safronis' first ever win in his 99 start. 2, a quick look at the points where we stand right now. This would clinch the Manufacturers' Championship for Porsche, and Davis doesn't care. He is coming after Safronis, but there you see it. Safronis gets that little margin, Brian.
And he's thinking, this is it. No mistakes. Onto the front straightaway. Couple more corners, James. Keep your head down. No misship. This is it. It's your victory. 1 to the front straightaway.
And Safronis, he's got enough in hand. Checkers are out. Safronis, although Davis very close. He was up alongside, but Safronis gets it. Davis second, Pilgrim in third. Safronis gets the win. Porsche, unofficially, will get the championship. Race early. Boy, that's going to sit nicely, James. We'll be back to New Jersey. Wow. Welcome back to New Jersey Motorsports Park with his 9th and penultimate round of the Speed GT Championship turned into a war. What a battle we had right down to the end. Here are the unofficial results. Safronis, Davis, Pilgrim, Daskalos from 13th to 4th on the grid, an unbelievable run. And Dino Crescentini, 19th to 10th, would have been higher without that off.
But the emotion in the cockpit of that number 14 Porsche with James Safronis, I can't even describe to you, to win your first race, what that's going to mean to that young man.
And to clinch the championship for Porsche, what a special moment. Let's hear from him.
I've been racing a long time in the series, and this is by far the best car I've ever had. The guys at GMG and Todd Ketchum and all the guys that work on this team have worked so hard, and I've been so close, and finally getting my first win in this series is just a relief. And allows me to, pay back all the hard work that my crew has done. So I'm more happy for them because they work so hard. And my business partner, Fabrice Katibu, who runs the shop when I'm not there, he gets me to race. And then I just got married, so my lovely wife, thank her for all her support too. So it's a good one, get a little choked up.
Well, understandably so. And here you go. Here are the manufacturer standings. You get 9 points for a win, so that's the margin right there. It is going to stick and get Porsche the championship. Now let's hear from our second place finisher. Another great drive.
We're here with Arca this weekend. We put a little wedge in the car with all the right-handers, so the first part of the track would be really, really good, and I could definitely close up on him, and then the left-handers and getting out of the slow stuff with that rear weight, I think it helped him a lot. But, he did a great job. He didn't put a wheel wrong, and congrats to James today.
Now, they both put on an absolutely great race. Now, the Drivers' Championship. You see the margin, 92 points. Andy Pilgrim still has a mathematical chance of the championship, but for a professional and a racer, Brian, that's all you need.
That's all you need. He needs to know that he's still got a shot at it. I don't know that it's going to change the way he drives. Andy Pilgrim always head down, always going for the win, but he believes he can do it.
Well, and he never gives up. He kept at it today, brought it home in third, and that kept him in the championship. Let's check in with Andy.
Tough race, real tough race. We had a great rain setup, and basically that's what we ran with, a rain setup. We tried to make some changes for the race, and it helped settle it out, but at the end it was pushing so bad, I couldn't even stay with those guys. So, just very, very hard race, very tough race. Cadillac did great. The racetrack's very interesting racetrack. I'm glad it was kind of wet on the outside because I think the dust would have been unbearable otherwise. So we had a pretty good race because the dust was down because of the water. But great race, another podium, very happy with that, and a tough one. So I'm real happy with third.
Well, that explains a lot, doesn't it, that they had a full rain setup on that. And, of course, Andy was able to drive it as best as it could be given.
Yeah, 7th podium of the year for Andy Pilgrim, but we saw great battles everywhere. And James Safronis took his first victory. Once you kind of knock down that door, look out.
Oh, and the way they've been running, absolutely. Now, next round, 5 days away, Road Atlanta. Championship on the line for the drivers, and most everybody got out of here pretty unscathed.
And what a great place to settle it. Road Atlanta, I mean, to end the season there, that's what you want. It is a driver's track, and the final race, it's going to be a good one.
Well, simply, folks, you don't want to miss that one either, so make sure you tune in right here on Speed. For Brian Till, I'm Greg Kramer. Thanks so much for joining us here for this series' first ever visit to New Jersey Motorsports Park, and it was spectacular.